Previously on My Two Bits.
Comic Sans, and next time I'll...
What?
What? Who are you?
But
Where am I?
what?
Where the hell is this place?
What?
Seriously? Start talking. I've had way too many unexpected intrusions in recent history, and one in particular was not too friendly.
Comic, it's Shark. You were at my Christmas party last December, though I did look a bit different back then.
No I wasn't. Jet, call the police!
I'm a time traveler. Things don't always happen to me in the right order. I guess that makes you a bit of a time traveler too, huh? Since, your events tend to happen out of order as well. Anyways, my library was drawn here for some reason.
I'll just add that to the list of problems the Cirque has caused, even while it is currently not broken.
Huh?
Flim Flam Brothers Super Easy Rift Connector 9000.
Oh, okay. It makes sense now. Similar temporal signature. I'll have to fix that.
Christ, there's pink horses everywhere. This is worse than prison. God, crazy how? This is my nightmare.
What did you call Best Pony?
God, I hope these are just love.
Hi, Jet.
Well, I wasn't really planning on doing another review today, but since you're here, I guess we could review the 2013 annual comic. Been kinda trying to squeeze that into my schedule anyways, though we would have to break it into two parts since there is technically two comics within it.
I'm in. Cue the spoiler alert. Don't come through this portal. There are spoilers here.
The first comic in the 2013 annual issue is written by Katie Cook and the art is by Andy Price. At least I'm 99% sure that is the creative team behind the first comic. Text, TARDIS, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, if you've watched any of my other reviews, then you likely know that I absolutely love Andy Price's art. He is one of my favorite IDW artists. And so instead of just fanboying over him, since you already know my thoughts, Shark, what do you think?
I'm a huge fan of Andy Price. While normally I don't pay attention to the comics, I personally think Andy Price has great art, perfectly fitting the setting of this comic.
Before we begin, I will note that this comic is titled The Fall of Sunset Shimmer. It takes place prior to the events of the first Equestria Girls, and based on the background drawing of Philly Twilight, it is years before the current time of the show. With that in mind, let's begin. It opens with Sunset Shimmer acing an exam at
Celestia School for Gifted Unicorns!
Following her tests, we see that much like Twilight in the pilot episode, she views studying to be more important than socializing. It would appear Twilight and Sunset are more alike than any pony thought.
Wait, hold on. Is that an observer pony? Should I still freak out about them since the whole reflection arc has already happened? Why not?
There is more than one of everything!
Back to the comic. It creates even more parallels between Sunset and Twilight when Celestia confronts her about her lack of social relationships, though in person rather than via letter. Anyways, during their chat, Celestia shows Sunset the mirror that we all know connects to the human world.
The image Sunset sees is her as a princess ruling Equestria. Odd, I was unaware the mirror could show that. Do you think maybe this is the same mirror from Harry Potter? You know, that one from the first book that is able to show the deepest desires? Nah. Doesn't matter anyways, it's the comics. They're not canon.
Excuse me? The comics are canon.
No, they aren't.
Well then, let's agree to disagree and move on with the review. Celestia seems to notice the darkness in Sunset's eyes and tries to move on to another subject. Though, as the weeks pass, Sunset keeps trying to ask about the mirror. Wow, she really is persistent.
Finally, Celestia tells her why they can't discuss the mirror. Sunset isn't ready. Unfortunately, she doesn't agree and breaks into the dark magic section of the Canterlot library to find out about it, and also other topics she shouldn't know about.
Seriously, worlds where magic exists, specifically the good guys in such worlds, need to stop keeping records of dark magic in their libraries. Now, I understand the need to know how to combat dark magic, but actual info on the dark arts should not be kept. Or at least keep it under much more secure lock and key, so aspiring dark wizards and evil ponies can't just break in willy-nilly and find information about stuff they shouldn't know.
Celestia catches her, and the conversation that happens just proves to Celestia that Sunset still isn't ready for her next level of training that might lead to Alicorn's sunset. Unfortunately, she believes she deserves that kind of power when she has yet to earn it.
This leads to Celestia removing Sunset from her position as her personal pupil. Something that Sunset says is the biggest mistake Celestia will make in her entire life. To which Celestia solemnly says to herself, one of many, referring to Nightmare Moon and her sister's banishment. Such character development and
Continuity!
If only it were canon.
I thought we agreed to disagree on that matter and we wouldn't bring it up in the review again. If you would like to discuss it, we can make a whole nother video about it at a later date.
Anyways, Sunset doesn't take the dismissal very well and beats up her guard escorts and escapes through the mirror to the human world. Celestia then has the mirror moved to the throne room as a reminder of her mistake and in case Sunset decides to return.
Where according to the first Equestria Girls movie, the mirror was then moved to the Crystal Empire once it came back and Sombra was defeated. To be continued. Well, technically. This annual issue does have two comics that do connect, but not in a part 1, part 2 sort of way. More like a this happened, and also this happened, leading up to Equestria Girls 1 happening. Anyways, I give this comic 9.75 Alicorn Sunset Shimmers out of 10. It is a great prequel to the events of the first Equestria Girls movie. It also gave Sunset a bit of a more developed character going into that movie, since in Equestria Girls 1, she was rather underdeveloped, just coming across as the generic evil high school bully character. Her motives are now a bit more developed as well. We now know why she hates Celestia so much, why she wants to rule Equestria, and what happened that made her go to the human world. The reason this comic isn't getting a perfect 10 out of 10 is because of one small issue I have. How long are 30 moons? If Luna is to be believed and the portal only opens every 30 moons. The reason I bring this up is because in this comic, Twilight is a foal, likely not even enrolled in CSGU yet. In the first Equestria Girls movie, Twilight is a full-grown mare. Yet in the EQG world, Sunset and Twilight appear to be the exact same age, if not a few years apart. Now, the timeline could still work if time flows a lot quicker in Equestria compared to the human world. But unfortunately, that's just a headcanon at this point. So, it still remains my only issue of this entire comic. But since it is more of a nitpick than anything else, I only removed 1/4 of a point, because in all reality, it could be easily ignored.
I enjoyed this comic. Even though I'm not normally a fan of said comics, the plot was passable and offered some great development for not only Sunset, but also for Celestia. I'm gonna give this comic 9.9 background characters out of 10. But of course, that's only if you count the comics as canon, which they aren't.
Oh, for the love of Sunbutt, you are still on that? The comics are fucking canon, unless the show says otherwise!
Nope. Comics aren't canon unless proven otherwise.
Alright, that's it! Ah, well, that is our 2 bits on this comic. Tell us your 2 bits in the comments below. And while you're down there, why not suggest a possible future spoiler alert? And don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, head over to Shark's channel, link in the description. And if you'd like to support either my 2 bits or Shark Discusses, you can find us on Patreon.
Nice going, comic, you broke her. Now I'm stuck here until I can acquire parts to fix her.
Well, I vented my anger, and I feel much better now. And hopefully, next time you'll think twice before saying the comics aren't canon. And besides, you can fix your library before we review the second half of this comic. It shouldn't take you that long, should it?
It's more complicated than it looks. I may be here longer than one review.
Well, next time we'll be covering the second half of the 2013 annual comic, the Equestria Girls Prologue comic. Can't help the feeling I'm forgetting something.
It's probably nothing.
I didn't know I could do that with my shell.
What the fuck?
Ah!